What are you afraid of? No, really. Think about it. I used to ask this myself all the time, especially when I caught myself overthinking or avoiding something I knew mattered. And over time, it became a bit of a filter, one that kept me honest. That question kept me from playing small. It forced me to face the truth. Most of the time, fear is just disguised hesitation. Most people don't realize this, but they operate with a quiet, default fear-based mindset. And that mindset doesn't just shape what you avoid, it shapes how you see the world. When you're in that fear mindset, your brain starts running silent scripts. It says, keep it safe, keep it predictable, stick to the usual. And that sounds smart, until you realize it's cutting off 90% of what life has to offer. You start filtering experiences, dodging new ideas, shutting down emotions, and avoiding anything that could make you feel exposed, all in the name of control. But guess what? That control comes at a cost. You're not growing, you're just managing your comfort zone. On the flip side, a winner, someone who's actually leveling up, doesn't avoid new situations. They walk right into them. They love them. They enjoy them. Not because it's easy, but because they know avoiding discomfort only delays success. For a long time, I didn't get that. I thought I was just being practical. But the truth was, I didn't like change. It made me feel like I was off balance. So I found smart-sounding reasons to stick to what I knew. I told myself, now's not the right time, or that's not really me. But in reality, I was just avoiding the unknown. I stuck to my usual routines like they were a safety blanket. And you know what? I stayed exactly where I was. That's the trap. Your brain will sell you comfort like it's clarity. And here's the catch. The older you get, the deeper those patterns run. You build entire systems to avoid change. You filter out any opinion that challenges yours. You shrink your mental world down to something manageable. And in that process, you destroy your own momentum. Start thinking about it like this. Not every new experience is a disaster waiting to happen. And even when it's tough, especially when it pushes you, it's not something to avoid. It's the whole point. That's where real growth happens. Most doubt comes from one thing, the idea that you'll lose control, that new situations will expose you, that you won't have the answers. So your brain tries to protect you by limiting your world. It tells you to avoid risks, stick to the script, keep your circle small. But that's not protection. It's disguised self-sabotage. Nobody enjoys being helpless, but if you seek true power, you've got to earn it. You do that by stepping into the unknown, taking your lumps, and learning to stay steady when things get messy. You earn strength by dealing with it head-on. Here's what most people never realize. You can't keep looking at life through the lens of your insecurities. That constant second-guessing. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? That's just hesitation, trying to shape your story. Here's what to do instead. Prove to yourself daily that discomfort doesn't break you. Stack real evidence, not with fake confidence or forced hype, but with action. You take the risk, you show up, you learn fast, and eventually, fear can't hold the wheel anymore. You're not just confident, you're competent. That's the difference. Winners get this. They know life requires responsibility, pressure, the tension that creates transformation. But someone with a fear mindset avoids those things at all costs, because if you don't try, you can't fail, right? That mindset kills growth. And the worst part is, you barely even notice it. It doesn't show up as full-blown panic. It shows up as procrastination, excuses, overthinking, and that low-grade doubt eventually turns into a lifestyle. If you want to grow, you've got to stay curious, remain open, remain ready to be wrong, run toward the resistance while everyone else is backing off. So where does all this mental noise really come from? It's not obvious at first, but it starts shaping you early. We all take hits, disappointments, rejections, pain, and we start building defenses. But those defenses turn into walls. And eventually, we stop letting ourselves experience anything new just to avoid getting hurt again. That's how your field of vision shrinks. That's how resistance wins. And that's why most dreams die. Instead of learning from the hits, most people bury them, suppress them, pretend like it didn't matter. But here's the real mindset you need. The obstacle is the way. What you're trying to avoid is usually the exact thing that'll unlock your next level. And yeah, that's easier to accept when life's throwing you small stuff. But when something big hits, like really big, you've got to stop and ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of right now? Say it, name it, and then look at it objectively. Because most of the time, the fear sounds real until you drag it into the light. Then it falls apart. Fear can't control your life. What you want exists on the other side, not in the comfort you're holding on to. One more thing no one talks about. Some people spend their entire lives trying to shrink everything down to something they can control. Their thoughts, their emotions, their experiences. They cling to outdated beliefs and limit what they let themselves feel, see, or explore. And the more they do that, the more they lose themselves. That's not growth. That's how you go hollow. So when you meet people who think like that, don't follow their lead. Don't let fear-based living become your standard. Be the one who steps in. Be the one who leans forward. Set the tone and stick with it.